VHS covers for the menu in Hotline Miami 2, and she draws some birds for a Finnish company or something. I don't know. Karin Bruér!
Hi guys. Thank you for that very nice presentation of me. I don't need to present myself now. So yes, like I said, I graduated here from Gotland in 2012, and I attended the defunct CGA Computer Graphics and Animation program. And since then, I've released 7 games. I lived in 5 cities, in 11 different houses. I've been hired by 5 companies. I had my own company. I was hired by many other companies through that one. I published a weekly comic in a newspaper. I made t-shirt and designs and other stuff that doesn't have anything to do with games at all. And I had 2 of my games being the top 10 chart on the App Store at the very, very same time, which I'm really proud of. Yeah. So, and yeah, during those 5-ish years since I graduated, I've had job titles like 2D artist, 3D artist, just artist, game artist, lead artist, and now I'm the art director. So I've mostly worked in mobile games since I left. I do have games released on PlayStation 4 and Xbox and Steam as well, but it's mobile that has been my thing really. With the biggest highlights being some of the biggest highlights being the artist on the critically acclaimed Leo's Fortune. It was released in 2014 and it won the Apple Design Awards that very year. And also being the lead artist on Angry Birds 2 that was released last year and has a bit over 100 billion downloads, which is kind of nice. And, and it is, of course, the sequel to the now classic game Angry Birds for mobile. And now I work as the art director on a very pretty newly founded game studio called Fast Travel Games. And it's a VR studio. It was founded by people from DICE, from Frostbite, and from Rovio. And we have a mission to make really nice VR games that it's not just experiences, but games that you can come back to over and over again. And we're aiming for the high-end VR like the Oculus and the Vive. We're working on a game right now, and of course I can't really say anything about it. So, but we can't wait to share it to the world. So yeah, as you might have understood by now, I've been having a lot of different experiences, and since I left this place. I've done a lot of different things. I had a lot of different jobs, some of them game-related, some of them not game-related. I just moved around a lot and had a lot of different jobs. And when I was asked to do this talk, I immediately thought, like, oh God, this is going to be so messy. What should I talk about? Should I talk about mobile? Should I talk about VR? Should I talk about just art in general? And this is just going to be a lot of different things. And then I thought about who I was during my time here, and that is me over there I think it's in the same building. And I thought about who I was, what I knew about the game industry, and what I knew about having a job in a creative industry at all. And I realized that there was very many things that I didn't know, and there was a lot of things that were quite shocking when I started working and realizing all those things one by one. And so I just thought that maybe I should just talk about some of those learnings, some of the things that you really should know before you enter this industry, and so you don't get shocked about them or beaten down for no reason. Because working in the game industry is, I don't think I really need to say this, but working in the game industry is so inspiring. It's very challenging, but it's really the most fun thing I've ever done. And I think you probably noticed that during those alumni days when people come and tell you about their passion and what they've been working on. So maybe we don't need to talk about that as much. Maybe we should talk about the anxiety instead, and all the other bad stuff. But just remember that during this talk that it is the greatest place to be, and you're very, very lucky, and you should know that. Let's see. So can we just a quick raise of hands? How many here are artists? Ooh, that's a lot. Nice. Is it mostly designers or programmers? The rest of you, how many are programmers and designers? Maybe all of you are designers. I don't know, but it's good that so many artists here, because of course it's since I'm an artist and I've been struggling in this art part of this industry. This is going to be towards the art thing, but we're going to go through a lot of things that it goes for everyone as well. So it's not going to be a waste of time, hopefully. So let's just start. And if you want to hear me have lectures about anything else like art or VR or making art for VR, maybe ask Marcus, and maybe he can get me here another time, and I can talk about that. So yeah, the first thing, no one will spend time looking at your portfolio. Bam! You feel great now? No, but you probably already heard the advice that like your portfolio is everything that matters when you're trying to have a job as an artist in this industry, and that is true. Like that is pretty much the only thing that does matter, and you probably heard that during those days also. But what people might not tell you is that we who hire people, we spend very little time looking at those portfolios. And that's not because people are. Yeah, I'll come to that. But while working as when I was working as lead artist at Rovio, one of my responsibilities there was to recruit people to the studio. I recruited people for my team, and I recruited people for other teams as well. And so I reviewed portfolios, I reviewed applications, I interviewed people, I selected people to get in for portfolio reviews, and I also hired people. And I also went to for portfolio reviews to schools, not this one, but other schools. And I interviewed people that wanted to be interns at Rovio. And during my time there, I reviewed so many portfolios, and everything from students to like super experts that are way more expert than me. And it taught me a lot of lessons about artist recruitment and how that really works. And today I don't really want to talk about what you should have in your portfolio, or like what kind of art you should have, because that differs so so much from what kind of artist that you want to be. So like, yeah, a concept art portfolio is of course going to be very different from a game artist portfolio. And even a game artist in a stylized mobile game that portfolio is pretty different from a hyper-realistic AAA studio for game art portfolio. So in that, regarding that, you just really need to talk to your teacher about that, and also study the people that has the jobs that you want to have, and just look what they have in their portfolio, because they probably have that portfolio when they got the job that you wanted. So just regarding that, just look at that. But what I do want to talk about is I want to give you advice on how you should present your work, because this is so important, and there's so many people that don't even think about that. And I'm sorry to say it, but you maybe heard the art directors or recruiters, they only spend 10 seconds on your portfolio. You might have heard that, and I'm sorry to say that it's actually true. And that's not because people are not interested in your work. That's not because they don't care. That's because an artist reviewing a portfolio, that artist just only needs 10 seconds to know if this portfolio is worth giving half an hour, like 10 minutes to half an hour to really, really look through, or if it just go in the reject bin. So no one will really spend more time on that in the initial phase. And which is sad. So if you're lucky, you're going to have an artist reviewing, because that's not always the case. Most of the times, the people reviewing your portfolio will not be an artist at all. The first one, at least, it will be a recruiter or someone hiring. Artists usually review the portfolio in a later stage, when most applicants already been sorted out. So yeah, if you're lucky, you have an artist reviewing, but that also means that the reviewer would rather make art than look at your portfolio. And it's kind of important to understand that and respect that, because you should make sure that the reviewing of your portfolio is easy and quick for this person, because there is nothing you can do to make the reviewer, the art director, or whoever is doing the reviewing spend more time on your portfolio than anyone else's. But you can decide how you want that reviewer to spend those seconds. So yeah, you can control what the first impression of you is, and don't give people the opportunity to misunderstand your art or you during those 10 seconds. So, first lesson, give me all you got on the front page. And this is important. What you see here is my portfolio when I went there from 2012. And this is my portfolio today. And I'm gonna, you can see it's very different, and there's a thought behind that. Because when I made my first portfolio here, starting out in the industry, like I've had it like that because I felt like, oh, this is kind of a nice representation of me. It has words that says what I do. It has a pretty nice picture. I thought it was nice at the time, so like, yeah, I can use this, and then that will be the first impression of me, and that will be really nice. And then they can just click over here if they want to see stuff. They can just click there, and it's going to be nice. It's a very, like, it's neat. But I see a lot of portfolios, when I've been reviewing other portfolios, I see a lot of people doing something like this. Or they have like a page, they have it full of buttons where you can click and you can read more, and it all looks really, really nice. And it's really nice web pages. And it might be a really good strategy if you're a programmer or a designer, since like your work samples they need more than just images. Like they need text, they need everything, and you can't have that on the front page. But if you're an artist and you want people to look at your art, that's just simply really not a great idea. And there's a couple of reasons for that. And the first one is that no one knows about your game. And if you're going to have a front page with either things like this. Here, what is that dog see? Do you know what that is? That was a really nice project that I did here at school. It was amazing. It had really pretty pictures, and I put the name there because I thought that felt a bit as professional. Like that's like it's a real project. I even have number 5, no title there. That was just me being bad at web design. But the thing, let's go back. And I've seen a lot of people, they have they have logos on the front page. They have like a lot of buttons. They have logos. They're like, yeah, this is a collection. This is a collection of me. And then you click on the buttons, and then you're getting brought to the nice things, to the art. And but the truth is that I'm probably not going to recognize most of those projects or names that you have there, especially if it's a school project. Then, like, even if it made it to the SGA, and even if it's really, really great, and it's probably going to be, because if you put it in the portfolio, it's going to be really great. But it's I'm probably not going to recognize that logo. I'm probably not going to know that name, and that's not going to be that's not going to urge me to click it. And therefore, like, the front page of your portfolio, the very, very first impression that I get from you, like the first, this is this person, is just going to be a random collection of logos that they don't mean anything to me. They don't tell me that I should be excited about them. And even if your game is award-winning, and like you feel like everyone should know about that, that's probably not the case, because no one knows your games, and that's the thing here. So Angry Birds 2 that I worked on, like I said, it has 100 million downloads. 100 million people have played this game. I meet people all the time that thinks that Angry Birds 2 is the same as Angry Birds 1. Even people that see the 2, they think that, oh, since it's a spin-off of that game, it's going to look like that. So if I would have this logo on my front page, on my portfolio, with a game that looks like this, and like, whoo, this is nice, this is my art. But everything people will see when they see that logo, they will see this game, and there's nothing wrong with that game. It's also a very pretty game, but it's not at all the same thing. If that wouldn't represent me as an artist. So yeah, think about that. Like 100 million downloads, and no one still knows about your game. And it's the same thing with Leo's Fortune. It won a ton of awards. It was promoted by Apple and Google. It still is. It still shows up on the front page on the App Store, but it's there's no one knows about it. A lot of people do, but there's a lot of people that don't, and you don't want to have you don't want the reviewer to be one of those who don't. So yeah, having a front page full of logos is a good idea if you're applying for a job as a logo maker. Having a really fancy site with transitions and like those Flash sites that people used to have a couple of years back. It's also a very good idea if you're applying for a job as a web designer. But if you're applying for a job as a game artist, I expect you to show me art. I want to see your art. So just ask yourself, like, does this front page, does it reflect my work? Does it reflect me? Or am I hiding important stuff that I want my future employer to see instead? So yeah, don't get me wrong. Like, having pages of information, it's text and whatnot like that. That is not a bad thing. It's always good to provide more info, but don't let that be like a wall of info. Don't let that be the first impression of you, because it will. Trying to find the right stuff in that will like eat up those 10 seconds that I talked about, and then I will have to move on, and maybe I even missed something that I couldn't see. So yeah, apart from not showing me directly what you want to show me, having a nice front page portfolio and buttons or menus, or they have another huge problem, and that is that they let me choose in which order I see your work, and that's a really bad thing. You really want to be in control of this, because I might go, like, if you have a really nice logo or something that is from your really, really early days, maybe I will click that first because, this is red. This is nice. It demands my attention. I will just click that first, and I will see your oldest work first. I might even maybe your newest, really, really cool stuff will not be will not have a nice thumbnail. Maybe I will not see it as a game even. Maybe I think this is an illustration. I'm gonna move on to the game stuff, and then I just miss your really, really cool things, just because it didn't tell me to click it. So just be in control, have full control of what message you're giving people. So because when you're applying to companies, you're pretty much gonna send off things into space, and you're gonna hope that you get some response from it. And there's so little things that you can't control. Like, you can't control anything. You can't control who's making the first sorting. You can't control who's reviewing it. You can't control if that person is having a really, really bad day and just don't want to look at stuff, which is bad. But the thing is that you do control. You can control what my first impression of you will be. You can control what order I see your work. You can control what parts of your work I see. And since those things are really the only thing you can control, just take that opportunity. Take that opportunity and have full control over that. So I wrote second here. I don't know if it's the second point. It's probably the fourth or something. But don't just have okay stuff in your portfolio. And you probably heard that before. I think that Maria talked about that as well. And I heard that a lot also when I was studying here. Like, don't have okay stuff. Don't have just bad stuff in your portfolio. Always sort out. And I didn't really understand it back then. I didn't understand the reasons for not having. I understand the reasons for not having bad stuff in your portfolio, but I didn't understand the reason for having like okay stuff, for having somewhat good stuff. Like, why shouldn't I have that? Maybe I can have something here that shows that I'm broad. Maybe I could have something here that shows that I have some experience in ZBrush. I'm not applying for a job as a ZBrush artist, but I have some experience, and maybe that is good. Maybe they want to see that I'm technical. Maybe that doesn't show in my illustrations, so maybe I should just have something here. Maybe I should have a character, even though I don't really want to do characters, just to show that I know a lot of stuff. That was my thoughts back then, and because I didn't really understand why I shouldn't have it, because it's good to show that you're broad, right? That was what I thought. But having something that is just okay-ish in your portfolio, what it will make is that it will make me question your taste level, and that's just a really, really not good thing. Because it will make me ask the question, like, why would this person that has a really nice and beautiful portfolio, why would they put something in here that doesn't meet the same standard as all the other cool stuff? Why is this piece here? Doesn't this person know that it's a bad piece? Do this person think that this is actually good and up to the same standard as everything else? Because maybe we won't see you wanting to be broad. Maybe that will not be conveyed. Maybe you're just like, I don't know if this person knows that this is bad, or that this is worse than everything else. And in the end, like, people want to hire people with good taste level, because technical stuff can be taught. If you don't know Unity, I can teach you Unity. If you don't know something, I can teach you that. It's like about game development, about workflows, about anything like that. It's teachable, but good taste, it's I don't even know where I should begin. Like that's something that you can't teach, and so that's something that you need to show in your portfolio. And if you don't know what's bad or not in your portfolio, you need to ask someone. If they say that everything is fine, that everything is good, you need to ask the internet. You need to go to a portfolio review, or you just get that first person really, really drunk and get him to like spill everything. Just do whatever it takes to make to learn what are the bad, or not the bad. I shouldn't use the word bad, but what are the weak pieces in your portfolio? Because you don't want to have weak pieces. You want to have stellar stuff. So. And like, this is something that everyone struggles with. That's not just starting out. And I felt like in the beginning of the year, I had a look at my portfolio, and I felt like I need to fix something. There's something. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's good enough. But I don't know what's bad or not. I don't know what the weak pieces are, because I spend so much time on all single pieces in my portfolio, so I can't tell them apart anymore. And I asked around, and I didn't really get the feedback that I wanted. And then in the spring, I went to GDC in San Francisco, and they had this portfolio reviewing session for students. And I was like, yeah, let's do this. I'm gonna be a student today, and I'm gonna go to a portfolio review. So I went there, and standing in line to the session, I started to talk to people, and we started to show each other our portfolios. And it became the moment it became obvious for the people that I was standing in queue with that I wasn't like that. I've been working for a couple of years, because that's pretty obvious. I had like a lot of titles in my portfolio, and they're like, mind blown. Like, what are you doing here? Why would you be here? You know this thing. You are the expert here. You've been working a couple of years. You should know these things. I have no idea. I needed that review as bad as they needed a review, because I'm just talking to someone else, getting another opinion on my work, and. So like there's, and that's really the thing. Like, we as artists, we are. It doesn't matter how many years experience someone has as an artist. We are never really capable of judging our own work, and we do get better after a while. I think I'm better now than I was a couple of years back, but we're just never going to be able to do it. So. You need to show people your stuff. You need to ask them to single out the things that are weak, and you just need to do that. You need to ask people for help on this. And the best thing about this place is that it's a school with a lot of other artists in it, and you can just ask your peers. And you also have guest lectures. Bring your portfolio to all the lectures. Ask the people that are lecturing here, like, what can I have 5 or 10 minutes of your time? Can you just look at my portfolio and just say whatever you want about it? Because they're here for you. So then, if they have 5 minutes, then they could do that. So yeah, it is okay to have work in progress and older stuff. It's okay to have things that are not relevant, that you want to show, that you feel like it gives your portfolio a more broad look to it. But it's usually great to see. But put that in a blog. Put it in a separate place. Have 2 portfolios. Have an art station where you just like use as a blog, and then you have a portfolio page that you have like, this is my stellar pieces. This is the best of me. So, because I probably want to see that when I after I got the really, really great first impression of you. I want to see your work in progress. I want to see your cool stuff. And if we are interested in your portfolio, of course, like we're gonna read your blog. We're gonna stalk you on Instagram. We're gonna find you on Facebook. We're gonna we want to find your things. So that's just not a problem. So another thing that I learned is that being the best doesn't mean you'll get the job, and when we had recruitment runs, like we said no to some really, really great artists. I know a lot of super talented artists that get rejection letters all the time. I got rejection letters from companies that I really thought that I was nailing it. Like this company is perfect with my portfolio, and still rejected. And because like even if you're a fantastic artist, you might not be a good fit for the studio or the project that they're hiring for at that time. And it's just very important to think about that, because you're probably going to have a lot of rejection letters. I had everyone that has been on stage those couple of days, I've had a lot of rejection letters. It's you just need to know that it's you might be perfect for that place, just not now for different reasons, because there's always more requirements than stated when you apply for a job and you read what they want. It's like, yeah, it's this many years, or you should know this tools or whatever. Like there's always more requirements that's not stated and that you don't know anything about. And often you don't even know what game project you're applying for, because often it's very secretive. So you don't know, like if you're applying to studio, but you don't know what kind of project that you are applying to. And you usually have no idea how the team looks like, what the team size is, what kind of artists are the other artists that are in the studio right now. You usually also don't know what am I exactly expected to do here? What role am I supposed to fill in this company? So sometimes like juniors are a way better fit than someone that is super senior experts. And that's only because like there's already it might already be a senior artist there. They don't feel like they need anyone more of those. They just want someone that is junior, or they have a completely different set of things, and they're looking for a very specific person. And also really important to remember is that maybe you're not the right choice right now. Maybe you will be in a couple of months. Maybe you will be next year. If you get rejections from companies, don't trash talk them. Don't go to mingles and trash talk the companies. Don't write that on social media, because like it's not. Maybe they're just like, this person is great. We're saving this name for later when this person applies again, and we will know that we want this person. So don't think that you can't reapply to the same company, because can totally do that. And about that trash talking thing, be nice. It's very important, and it's like every company what they're looking for is a good cultural fit, and you want them to think that you're not only a great artist, but also a really good person, because they will be forced to sit in the same room as you for 40 hours a week. And you want to have great persons in the same room as you for 40 hours a week. They looking for someone that is nice. And usually if you get called into interviews, then the interviews are only about seeing if you're nice, if you're behaving weirdly, or if you're saying weird stuff, or if you're just nice. So just lean back and be cool about going to interviews. And especially if you find yourself in an interview where there's people from other disciplines, like if there's someone that you might not even work directly with, then you know that that person is only there to see if you're nice or not. So try to be nice. And there's a lot of ways to be not nice without even knowing it, like trying to be nice and not and failing at it without even knowing. And some things that you just should avoid is having like irony or jokes or some weird tone in your personal letter. It's like maybe you feel like, yeah, I should show that I'm this really nice, this really funny person. I should have a joke there. I should have something that is really witty. There is no sarcasm smiley yet. People don't know if you're joking or not. So don't just do that. And also, like, this varies from person to person, but having explicit pieces in your portfolio, having a lot of naked girls, having a lot of weird stuff, like there is a chance that your portfolio will end up at the computer of someone that doesn't want to have like that kind of things on their computer at work, and they're not going to study it. They're just going to click down because they don't want to have that thing on their computers. So some people don't care about this at all. Some people want to see like, oh, this is just a cool image. But if there is a slight chance that this person will it ends up with a person that has a problem with this, like do yourself the favor and not risk it. Like don't take that risk. Be in full control. And this goes also back to what I mentioned earlier about making people questioning your taste level. Be sure that like all the pieces that you have shows off your great sense of taste, because that's what people want to. They want someone that has a great sense of taste. So yeah, having a bad tone online, not a good idea. As I said, we will Google you. If things shows up, then that will make us question who you are, if you're nice or not. That's just not good. And there's always the awkward moments. Like there's always like addressing the wrong company, sending no links, sending the wrong links, being awkward. It's something that happens to everyone, like from time to time. Like it's always someone that does this, like addressing the wrong company in their letter or something like that. So just make sure that you're not that one, because it's always going to be one, and just don't be that one. Don't make you stand out because of those reasons. And just research the companies. And I know you hear this all the time. Like they say that at Arbetsförmedlingen as well. Like research everyone and just have a really personal letter. Like, but it's really good. It takes doesn't take long. If you want to work at a company and if you feel like this is a company that I want to work with, just research what they do and mention that. Mention that you did your research. Mention what you like about that company. Maybe it's their game or their style or some specific games that they have that they like. This I really like this in your portfolio, and or maybe they have like a really nice culture at work. Maybe they're doing a lot of things outside of work, and you've been like having nice parties. Even that, like mention that. Like, hi, I heard that you have nice parties, and that's that's really great. I want to be a part of those. So it shows them that you know about them, and that you actually want to work there. And what you can do also is, like, if you point out the things in your portfolio that you think fits. Like if you're applying for a company that does something that you have in your portfolio, say that. Hey, I got this piece in my portfolio. I think it really fits your. It would be. I think you would be really interested in seeing this. And you will know that they will know that you're just not there for wanting. You don't want any job. You want that job. So there's probably like some people might think that they already knows a lot about making games, while some of you might feel like feel really bad about your abilities and are stressed out about not knowing anything. Actually, like being stressed out about your work, and about not knowing stuff, it's actually a really good thing. Because if you the thing is that if you think that you know everything, you in fact you don't know anything. And you might have seen this thing. It's the Dunning-Kruger effect. It's a thing phenomenon that's your people that beginning to do something, like beginning to play guitar or beginning to make games. They have a really high confidence in the beginning. They think that they know everything, and the more they know, the less confidence they have about what they're doing. And this is because if you don't know much, you just have huge blind spots. You can't tell what's good or bad, or you can't tell like what are the things that I need to get better at. You just have those huge blind spots, and so you think you're better than you are. While people that are actually like gaining experience and knowing more, they get knowledge about everything that they don't know. And one important thing that you can see here is that it also like that confidence level, like it doesn't get up to 100 again. Like it kind of stays there. You're always going to be bad, but like because that if you're really good at something, you usually think that it's easy for everyone else as well. You think that maybe I'm not special. Everyone must know this because this is easy for me, so everyone probably knows this. And then you never get that full confidence that you had when you were starting out. And this is in this kind of area where people developing something that's called imposter syndrome. And I think Daniel mentioned this yesterday. And I think it's really important. If someone wasn't here, I can just briefly explain that the imposter syndrome is a concept describing that if you're a high achieving individual, you are not, then you can become like not. I'm gonna take some water. Feeling it now, the imposter syndrome. Like if you're like high achieving and you want to be greatest, you want to do good, then you can start feeling like a fraud, and it's because of this. Like if you're you start feeling like everyone knows what they're talking about. Everyone is an expert in this, and I probably don't know anything because I've been here. It's been here a couple of years, and everything like that. And it's just a really real thing. And the thing about me is that I never really attended any game making courses at this university because I went to the CGA education, I learned to make games this way. I went to game jams. I went to tons and tons of game jams, and I just learned making games by pretty much making them. And being surrounded by a lot of people that makes a lot of games and that released a lot of games, and you're just starting out, and it humbled me into like imposter syndrome pretty much. I felt like shit. Maybe they will know that I'm not good at this, even though like I was producing so many games. I was releasing games in 2012, the year that I graduated. I made 10, 15 games that year. I released 2 of them. It's just making and making and making, and still feeling really like I don't know what I'm doing, but but obviously I did. Obviously I still do. I'm still here. I'm still in this industry, and just learn to recognize that, because there's a pretty high risk that you will feel this way also. It's a pretty high risk that you will get into the industry and you will just realize that shit, everyone is amazing, because everyone is. It's a great industry. It's full of creative people. Everyone that I met at game jams, they're so successful, so creative, so many great people in this industry, and you will be humbled by that. But just know that it's just your brain. It's nothing else. It doesn't have anything to do with your abilities. It's just you thinking that you're thinking the wrong things. Whoops. So, what you should just really do all now as well, like just, can you name what you're good at? Can you name what your flaws is? Just try to list them, list everything, and try to be better. So, and this goes like, so if it works, it works. I'm going to university, like this is a really great place, and there's a lot of people that are interested in the same thing as you do, and we had a lot of great teachers. It was just very, very great, but it was still kind of like a bubble. In a way that I have very little knowledge about how the industry really worked, because it felt so far away when I was being a student, and it felt like the industry is those really cool people showing up at AlumniDays and just hanging, and you don't really want to talk to them because that's awkward. And I just have so little knowledge about how things really work, and so it was so scary to go out and to actually start working with people, and like shit, everyone is such an expert and everyone knows everything, but the truth is that the game industry, it's so changing. It changes every day. There's constantly new software to learn. There's new workflows to adapt to. There's new markets to put your games on. Like, for an example, like App Store, it released in 2008. That was like when App Store opened up. It had 500 apps at that time. Now it has over 2 million. That was 2008. That's not even 10 years ago. And when I started to develop games for App Store in 2012, and I felt that everyone around me that did that was shit, they're so like super experts at releasing games on this App Store, and they've been doing it forever, but they only been doing it for 4 years by then. And it's just ever changing, and just the only thing that you need to know, like, was being adaptable. Like, you just need to adapt, and that's just the greatest skill that you can have in this industry. So, and that's the same thing with VR. VR is completely new to me. This is one of the first times that I tried VR. It's the Oculus Dev Kit 1, the one where you can still see the pixels. And like VR it's really new to me, but it's new to everyone else also. And because of this new medium, there's so many things that we need to learn again. and being an expert at some other medium, it helps. It helps a lot, but it's still going to be a process of learning again. And I find myself like thinking all the time at work, like this. I know that this works, but how would that be in VR? I have no idea. Let's try it, because I have no idea. I know exactly how this will work in mobile games, because then I know that. But VR is just like, maybe this is a good idea, maybe it's not. And I feel like this point shouldn't need that much of explanation, but I think it's really just important to point out anyway, because when I started out in the gaming industry, and I found myself in Karlshamn after a year, where I was lecturing for game art students there, and I just the kind of experiences that I had from teaching was there is these two kinds of students. There is the student that love that they are here just because they love playing games, and there is the students that are here because they love making games. And if you find yourself being that one that are playing more games than making games during your education, then you should really stop and think really long and hard about who of those two do you think make up the industry, pretty much. Who is there and who is not. I'll leave that guess to you. All right. So we're getting to the end now. Soon you can stand up. All right. So it is okay to not be successful. Then don't say no to projects because you think they will not be successful, or because you think they will not sell enough, or you think they'll not be hits. And this might sound a bit weird, because of course you want to make money, and you want to make you want your games to make money so you can do more games. Of course, that's how this thing works. But I really feel like all the projects that you do, even if they're not a success, you will get some learnings from them. You will it will teach you things if it's game making, of course. If you do other stuff, then I can talk about that. But if you are making games, then that's what you should be doing. And when I left the when I started out, I was part of. Cause I left the island a bit earlier because I went to Copenhagen to study at UChroma, and then, which is cross media education. There was a couple of people from my year that did that, and when I started out there, and we got some fundings for the school project that we had, and we wanted to make it a real game, and it was kind of obvious from the beginning that this was not going to be anything. We didn't have the team that we wanted. It was way too overscoped. We were hoping to get a huge chunk of funding, but we didn't. We got a really small one. And that made people that we wanted to work with, they just left. They're like, nah, this is not going to be a success. I am not gonna. I don't want to be around for this. I'm going to go home or work on my portfolio, or applying to jobs or whatnot. And but I stayed and worked on that. And of course, it's like, because people felt like they didn't want to be a part of something that was not successful, and I don't blame them for that, because it's everyone should see for themselves. but the game that we did was, of course, that was never released. And if someone had looked at me in that at 2012, they would probably say that, yeah, this was not a good thing to do. You wasted time on a project that it wasn't even released, and you have nothing to show for that. But that is just very, very wrong, because during that project, I got to know a programmer that I became friends with, and we would go everywhere and game jam for years. He, at that kind of same time, he submitted a game concept to a contest, and he won money to develop it. And since I learned to know him during that failed project, he asked me to join. Like, yeah, let's go and make it right this time. And which led to us not only releasing that one project, but two for the money. So that was great. So when I started looking for jobs outside of my friends in around 2013, I had two released games in my portfolio. I had one in the process of being released, and then I had like 10 or something game jam games. All thanks to that failed project that no one wanted to work on because it was doomed, it was failed. So take all the opportunities you get. It might not show directly, but if it is about making games, then you are not wasting your time, and it might lead to better stuff. And here's the most important slide: have fun. And that's actually a review that I got on a game, one of my games. And this is also the review that I would probably give this working in this industry. It's really, really great. And if like we're just always remember that we're in it because we love it. We're in it because we really, really like making games. And I know I talked a lot about anxiety, imposter syndrome, and how you should have your portfolio and how no one looks at it and everything. But I just really wanted to talk about that now, so you can see that when you go out, and you can you know that what that is. You know that this is something that just gonna be this is gonna look like that, and then you can just focus on the fun things, because it's those things that I went through. It's like those are the only bad stuff that I can think about being in the creative industry, and it was not that many. It was like 7. So it's just have fun. It is really fun. So yeah, I just wanna end by giving you all a really, really big welcome to the industry. I'm really looking forward to meeting you all. I'm really looking forward to meeting you out on like industry mingles, on conferences, and maybe we'll even work together in the same company one day. And I will be really happy about that. So thank you for listening. I think I talked for a long time, but maybe if someone has questions, do we have time for questions?
Yes.
Nice. No one? Yep.
Could you give an example of what you would consider a really good portfolio to kind of get their attention?
It is basically the things that I went through, like having everything shown in my face. Like, here is the best things. A very neat portfolio in the way that it's not cluttered with a lot of stuff. It's just just your best work, one page, and everything else is very easily accessible, like a PDF with your information and everything else. It's simple, keeping it simple. Hope that answered. Maybe we can talk about that later also, like we can flesh it out.
Hi, Okay, so when you get that daunting reaction letter, they say you're not the good fit at the moment. Would it be okay to send them for feedback, or they won't even answer?
It is okay. Don't take for granted that you'll get an answer, because there's so much other work to do all the time. So like it might not be time for that. But the thing is, like, it's not a bad thing. If you ask nicely and just like, hi, I understand. If you could get me some pointers, that would be great. Have a nice day. Then it might end up with someone that actually like, yeah, I have time. I really liked some stuff, and I really see potential. It would be nice to talk to this person about this. So it's okay, but don't expect to get any feedback, because it's usually like people don't have time, unfortunately. Yeah.
I want to add on what Karin said. She said, you can ask us if you want feedback for your portfolio or something, just if we have 5 or 10 or maybe 20 minutes. And here today we probably had, but we always have 10 seconds. You can just ask us for our quickest feedback. And if it feels scary to ask for a lot of our time, which it shouldn't be, then we always have 10 seconds.
Exactly.
Ask us. We're here for you guys.
Exactly. And I hope everyone comes forward with their portfolios, because you brought them, right?
They're not ready.
They're always ready. If you've done one piece of art at some point, you have enough to start your portfolio.
Hi, Karin. Awesome
Hello.
talk. It was
Thank
great.
you.
So I was just wondering, did CGA help you in any way, like studying here at Gotland, to get into games, or was it like, did you have to relearn tons of stuff before you started?
It's I was really scared when I really started making games, because I always kind of wanted to make games, but I was I was a bit awkward growing up, and just like I didn't think I was good enough to make games. I was like, maybe it's easier to make movies. Maybe I can do that. So also like starting to actually make games and going out in the industry, I felt a lot like, shit, I don't know anything, because I went to film education. I don't know anything. But like, everything that I learn is something that I have that has helped me. Like because I knew how to make games when I started. It was just some technical stuff that I needed to learn, and that I did that on game jams. But everything from that education has been a benefit. So it's I'm really glad for going there.
Hi. I want to stick to the always learning new stuff thing.
Mm-hmm.
What's the biggest change as an art director to work with VR compared to your previous work? Or is there no real big change for you?
It is a big change, because it's a completely different medium, and anyone that have ever tried VR knows that like everything changes, I'm struggling with how I should convey the art direction in the VR thing, because pictures doesn't do it really. Like, it is not you're not looking at a screen, you are in that world, and it's so much about feeling and how it feels to be in that world in a completely different way than it is if you're looking at a screen. So there's a lot of differences, like tons and tons. But that's why it's exciting also.
Hi, Wojtek.
Hello.
Thanks for the pointers on portfolio. I'm gonna revise mine now. Even professionals need to revise their portfolios.
I need to do that too.
Yeah.
So
Question. What do you usually ask at an interview?
Oh. A lot of things. Any in the like specific areas, or just like
Pick your favorite one.
because the thing is that it is what I talked about wanting to know if someone is nice or has a great taste, because that's and also like getting to know if that person actually wants to be at your studio and not just at any studio, because that's so really important. And there are a lot of people that are just applying to everyone, of course, like, because starting out, I just want any job. You're like, so then there's going to be a lot of people that shows up that doesn't necessarily want to work there. Like, I could see myself working at your studio, but I might rather be working at something else. And it's just so very important to know that. Sometimes that doesn't matter. Sometimes you're like, as long as you're good and you're excited about your job here, it would be nice. But every studio wants someone that want to stay there. So that's like the important things to try to like. So why do you want to work here? That's the first question. Like, why? Tell me why you want to work here. And if they say something that has to do with just games in games industry in general, there's going to be a lot of more questions to see if this person actually like want to work here or just in games. So I would say that is the most important question. Dun, dun, dun. No one? All right. Then